Hey guys, this is Jake. This is part two of drawing techniques, and in this portion, I'll be covering basic form. So let's get started. First part is obviously your lower body. So usually, when people take a drawing stance or draw cutting, they usually have their dominant foot forward, non-dominant foot behind, and then they bend your legs. Okay. So I have a little bit of a bend to your knees, and where you place your uh, non-dominant foot, right here, depends up to you. You can put in a direct straight line, have a little bit out, have it really far out. It's all up to you. Okay. So next, what we're going to be covering is hips and upper body. So you take up your stance and you're about to draw. One thing that you can do is you can turn your hips out at an angle away from your target, or turn it in facing towards your target. Okay, so this will obviously help with turning your hips. If you have your hips facing towards your target, then as you reach the end of your draw and then you turn your hips, you can obviously turn your hips a lot more. Okay, so going from here to here, you can turn your hips a lot more. Um, if you have your hips already at an angle, okay, like say my hips are facing about here, and I do the same thing, I can only turn my hips so much, all right? And upper body wise, as you draw, remember, try to think of it as if, for me, I basically think of it as if I'm leading actually from my chest, okay? I try not to think of it as if I'm leading with my arms, because once you start thinking that you're swinging a 2-pound piece of metal through the air at arm's length, what you usually end up doing is you start leaning forward, okay? So if you think about leading from your wrist or your hand, then usually even I find myself leaning forward as I'm cutting, and during the cut I lean forward. So that's bad because it could help. Well, I mean not help. It's bad because it'll mess with your overall body balance, and it may affect your cut because even though you're swinging straight through the air, if you're leaning forward, then as you're cutting, then your sword's moving down. See what I mean? So that may be another factor to consider. And if I think of it as if I'm leading from my chest, then I'm thinking about more centrifugal force um, as I'm approaching the cut. So as you see here, as I draw and start cutting, if I think of leading from my chest, then I find myself rotating my body more, and I can get more power behind my cut that way. Okay, so there's that. And something that is a little bit of a quirk about drawing is no matter what drawing position you start off with, whether it's feet together, feet apart, um, behind each other, whatever, there's different ways to do it. As you draw, you can take a half step forward, okay, and then cut. You can take a full step, cut, or start with feet together. Take a step and cut, okay? One thing that I do is, well, this is a little bit, sorry, let me show you guys here. One thing that I do, which is, how do I say it? It's a little weird to a lot of people, but then there's a reason why I do this. If you watch any of our cutting videos, when I do draw cuts, usually what I do is I start from position like this, and let's sit back up here. Half step forward, draw, and then as I'm cutting, I swing my foot back behind me. Okay, so it's past my dominant foot. The reason why I do this is, let me show you guys up here. Let me show you my upper body. As I'm drawing, just drawing like this, and basically it's all the power from turning my wrist. Okay, that's not a lot of power behind my cut. Alright, so the reason why I draw my foot, I drag my left foot behind me, is so that I shift my entire body weight over into the direction I'm cutting. So my entire body weight is going into, or is going behind the cut. Okay, so let me show you that one more time. I'm about to cut, draw, cut. Okay, so as I cut, you saw my entire body shift over to the right. Okay, and that means my body weight is, body mass is behind that cut as well, and that means less work on my arms and my shoulder. Okay, so there's that. There's just some few little points for you guys to consider when you do draw cutting, and as always, train safe, have fun, and use safe training tools. Remember that. Alright guys, thank you for watching.